All right, looks like we are back. The analyst desk is here. We had a few technical issues with the stream director, but that is totally fine. We are here to bring some more analysis about this game coming in. We talked a lot about how this composition from ZWD is really all about making these plays with Zed and Varus, trying to get onto these priority targets with Jinx and Azir, because Poppy, Sejuani, and Lulu are not bringing that much damage or, solo fighting potential. So either way, once these damage threats from each team are gone, the fight is kind of just very hard to win from that point, especially the later the game gets. So I want to hear your guys' opinion on like how do you think these mid-game team fights trying to secure these dragons and barons are going to play out?
I think it really depends on how much value Zed versus Azir are applying in fights. Zed has very long cooldowns. His W is quite long. It's around 11 to 13 seconds during the mid game. Maybe getting down to 8 if you can hit multiple members with some of his abilities. But still, his ability to trade and do damage is quite low. So he can't really afford to poke like the Jinx and the Azir can. He doesn't really want there to be long fights. He wants to go in, get a ton of damage for his team so that they can look to just get a kill to like get the momentum of the fight, because if Froggy fighters have that same thing happen for them, if they get a single pick on a Soraka, Varus, Zed, Zac, Maokai, really any of the members die, their damage goes up by quite a significant margin because of Jinx becoming excited.
Yeah. I really hope... Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. I think it's going to be very important that Froggy Fighters gets a good ward around every objective.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to like 30 seconds prior to like drag coming in, or a minute even. I think Zed's going to want to flank, and if if you do the standard front to back, Froggy Fighter wins. That's just the end of there's no arguing that. But if Zed gets a good flank and disrupts their entire positioning, it could be over for Froggy Fighters.
You open up this angle for this Maokai and this Zac and Varus to get in against a disorganized front line, like with the Poppy and the Sejuani being in the correct positioning to deny the engage tools. If we're able to see some disruption, at least through the setup of these team fights, then I think we could see some very split fights where, and I was going to touch on this as well. I really hope this is AP Varus, because...
Yeah, I think AP Varus is the only way they can really deal with Poppy and Sejuani.
Right. Yeah. I think we need to see that. Like, yeah, I think we need to see that from him. And we are going to cut back to our live broadcast here, and casters will take it away. We will see you after the game.
Yeah, I know. I was going to die, I suppose.
That's fine.
The casters can open up here.
Yeah, casters, you guys can talk during the pause.
We are getting into game now. Casters don't have a stream.
Hey, I'm watching it live. I'm in browser.
We're watching it with you guys. It's okay.
It's a typical 5v5 fan. Nothing too exciting here. Neither team wants to coin put this one on the level 1.
Stream does come online.
Yeah.
The Froggy Fighters managed to get their first win, but they need 3 more. Back to back to back. I am Sopan with Ultras and Joseviak here to bring you the action in Game 5 of the Liga Grand Finals.
And I'm hoping it's an exciting one. You know what? Let's just say it. Let's go to Game 6. I'm here for it. And as I say that, I can feel the stream team just cringe at me saying. But yeah, a little bit of a trade here from both of the top side teams here.
I'm ready for Game 6, man.
Yeah,
me personally.
Yeah, me too.
What else am I gonna do? I play in La Liga. I cast in La Liga. It's a Saturday night. I clearly don't have other plans. You know, I want this to go the distance.
You can still hit Diamond before the season's up, right?
Oh, no shot, man. I'm Plat 3 forever, and I'm proud.
So third. Alright, well here, tanks in the top lane, starting off with this red buff as Gix gets this jungle pathing underway. Baratel matching the pathing here on the Poppy. Has the solo started this time, so once again, kind of in classic Baratel fashion, we'll see if he ends up going for one of those level 2 creeps. Ganks on the Poppy. And yep, that's exactly what's happening here. Goes straight into the top lane, looking for the Maokai.
Fairytale doing a little angling, walking around the big rock up there. Surely X-Ray sees this coming. It's only like the 9th game this has happened.
It's here in the bottom lane, actually, though. Alright, Hollow's Eve getting chunked out, hurts a little bit. Does have some sustain, but if you're chunking out the Soraka, you're effectively chunking out the Varus. But now they have the level 2 advantage, they're able to walk out. Fleas getting back a little bit. Not much of an all-in lane exactly, but able to dodge away from the poke. Fleas and Sporadic feeling good underneath the tower here as the wave will eventually crash.
Yeah. Looking a little rough for the bot lane of Froggy Fighters early on in this game, just because Soraka... I mean, with her silence field makes it so hard to actually effectively trade. And with Soraka just getting health after every trade, I mean, we see how quickly this turns into an advantage for the bot side of ZWD here. As Gix is down here, can look for a dive
makes
here.
this possible.
Now, with that being said, Exhaust and both flashes being up means they have to execute this perfectly.
Risky, here comes Gix over the wall. Actually manages to pull back in Sporadic, but a shield to keep him alive. Lots of damage comes on down, a heal burn from Hollow's Eve, and they'll pay a summoner for a flash in the bottom lane.
It is honestly a mis-execution there by ZWD. GYX goes in before the wave crashes, means he's tanking tower shots immediately despite not landing the E. It is still good for ZWD though, as they're able to crash a really, really big wave and grab a plate.
Oh, the piercing arrow. I think actually the level up from Sporadic keeps him alive fairly, so very close there. Now, extremely risky. You'll see both these members backing immediately as they just have to against the lane dominance being shown right now by Goblin and Hollow's Eve.
Yeah, that's what we call calculated from Sporadic there. Does get the reset off finally. Down about 10 or 2 waves in this lane so far, but honestly not the end of the world. We kind of expected this Varus to be stronger than the Jinx early on, and pushing LP actually getting shoved into the tower.
Yeah, a little bullied out despite the early ganks coming on through. The Ignite does take down a little bit of damage, comes out on the X-Ray, manages to take the auto for the heal off, and goes back on in. What are you doing? This is so risky. Pushing LP barely out of range, maybe no mana for that stun, but now Gix is on the side. They have a mini wave to fight in. There isn't a lot of mana in the pushing LP though. Can they make the fight happen? These are tanky members, Gix. I'm not sure if you can burst anyone down immediately. X-Ray, everyone's so low. Goes into pass one Zach. First blood to pushing LP. The 2v2 duo in the top lane. Tanks versus tanks. Juwani pushing LP who comes out on top as Nylek looks to chase down Sparks, looking for another solo kill here actually. Azir on the way out. Ben mentioned this is a counter pick, but will he find the kill? Nylek takes a turret shot, now takes a second turret shot. He takes a third, and it's a execution. Sparks didn't get and it's a solo kill for nothing in the mid lane.
Yeah, Nylek's wave state is absolutely perfect too. A huge wave is pushing into his tower. He should be able to collect most of this. Yeah, he should just be able to walk and collect most of it. Maybe lose a few. It's definitely better than having it pushing in the opposite direction since Sparks does have the teleport. Overall, though, it's Froggy Fighter sided on the top side with pushing LP picking up that double kill, and then Nylek making his presence known early yet again on the Assassin with the solo bolo in the mid lane and the execution.
Yeah, and with Sejuani being 2-0, it means that the front line of Froggy Fighters is really hard to punch through. And Varus, I don't know if he's going to go the AP or AD build at the moment, but I mean, regardless, if you're thinking of champions that like have strong, consistent damage, Varus isn't really up there. He's more known for his like burst moments.
And Mark does a lot of damage, and Sparks is actually able to kite away effectively enough, but it's Gix in the bottom lane for the gank, looks for the silence. Nice Equinox to snare out Fleas, and now it's Goblin looking to chase on the Sporadic. Not going to find anything else though in the bottom lane, as it'll disengage a potential dragon angle here for ZWD.
Yep, and X-Ray taking the worst end of these trades now in the top lane as he's fallen behind in gold, but I mean, yeah, that was just really well played by Gix to recognize where he can actually make a gank happen, and for Fleas, I think it was just a little bit of an overstep knowing that nobody else was around, but...
This is walking back in. That's Eve sniped down by the turret shot, but it's Sporadic. He actually does not get the kill. Flashing forward, it's Goblin looking for something more. Gix gonna find the stop on the Poppy. A nice knockup here. It's 2 versus 1, but they don't have a whole lot of damage. Beartail charging forward, has level 6, has red buff. Will it be enough to burn down Goblin? It will. Gix, no passive on the Zac. Now looking to try and turn this around actually on a Beartail. Doesn't need mana as his Beartail Beartail, who has no resources, looking for the last clean shot. He'll actually find the kill. Gets down the mini wave, leveling up with the red buff. Will not be able to fall to Fleas, and it's a nice trade here in the bottom lane overall. A whole lot denied against Sporadic.
We have another bloodbath of a game on our hands here. Both teams going blow for blow in what is match point for ZWD. I mean, Froggy Fighters are hanging on for dear life, but my goodness, they are hanging on well.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath indeed, but look at where the kills are. We see 2 kills onto Baratel's Poppy and 2 kills onto Push LP Sejuani, while Goblin is the member on ZWD holding 2 kills. The strength of this Poppy and this Sejuani aren't going to matter. They're going into an on-hit Varus. He's going to be able to shred these tanks, although they will stack quite a bit of armor into this composition.
He's getting tagged up here a little bit, but it's Fleas is just so low off the back of these trades. Didn't manage to find a recall there, and now Hollow Zeed has the position to just try and bully out this Lulu Jinx once again. Fleas and Sporadic on the back foot through most of this game, looking to try and get out of this laning phase as quickly as possible and get into these early skirmishes.
Yeah, and first drag being up now for the map, and with it being Mountain Dragon, I think Mountain Dragon is, I think it's one of the more like stat-wise that gives some of the most value out of any of the dragons now. Good first dragon for a super tanky, super fed frontline like Froggy Fighters have right now. So if they're able to pick up this dragon, I could see them just having complete control over the early mid game.
There's a whole lot of respect for that Sejuani. Flashed away. X-Ray running a summoner may have seen Poppy on a ward in that river, but now there's an angle where they can try and just take this Herald for free. I mean, they don't exactly know where Gix is, but with getting pushed in mid lane and having a summoner burn at top, it's much harder now for ZWD to contest this.
Yeah, I think X-Ray may be a little scared of the Poppy gank there, as we see Baratel soloing up the Herald.
Yep, a little bit of trading here in the bot lane shouldn't mean too much. Baratel is topside against 2 flashless solo laners, so he might be able to look for something here, but Sporadic actually ended up taking a lot of damage there. The camera panned away from him, but Poppy is here now in the mid lane.
Oh, looking for it. Emperor's Divide pushes him back. Still can go back to the shadow though. Able to make an easy escape here. Sparks now looking for trying to make the trade back. It's a flash for Baratel. It's a knock up for Baratel. There's a smack down from the mid jungle duo. Froggy about to pick up one, but on the bot side, Gix has fallen once again. Or Gix has claimed the kill once again here, looking for the dive. Much more successful so far this time around as they proxy the wave. Please, not long for the world here. There's no teleports, there's no help coming. Nice flash, but might be able to turn around on a passive at least. Gix with the help from Hollow Z, be able to make the escape happen. In the mid lane now, they're trading a whole lot of gold onto this Azir.
Yeah,
ZWD do find the kills bottom, but it comes at the cost of their mid tower, and I think honestly for the side of Froggy Fighters, they mis-executed on the Herald. If they take those plates before spawning the Herald, they could have got the entire tower, but instead they spawn it early after the death of Nihiluk and they leave it with a plate up.
Did you almost just call them the Soggy Fighters? Is that what I heard there?
We'll see if they win this game, how much time they spend in the river. Maybe they'll need a name change, but
Well, man,
Baratel.
Ooh.
It's gonna get popped here at a passive. They can easily give this kill to Sporadic. Surely this one gets given on over. As the Jinx picks up a shutdown onto Zach, pushing LP, going very aggressive on the Hollow Z, has dropped the Ignite, looking for the damage. Can he find it? He's just so dang tanky. Goblin just can't get through him. Hollow Z now running back into the fight, has no mana though, and now help has arrived with Fleas on the Lulu. Still at level 6 though, and they're not willing to continue this chase as they know Nihiluk is on the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well played by them to get that pick on Juex here, because it's going to mean that this first dragon does go their way, and with a super fed Poppy and a super fed Sejuani, this percentage bonus in armor and magic resist from the dragon actually just multiplies because they will have stats earlier in the game. And you saw there that the Sejuani was basically taking no damage from the Varus as he was just free hitting the Sejuani, but it's going to get even worse for him before it gets better at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade across the map for the side of Froggy Fighters. You bring Push-In LP to the bottom lane in exchange for essentially just plates on Maokai, but you get the Drake and you push Goblin off of the lane as we get a little camera tour.
Tours, baby.
Tours. Yep, and as the map is just resetting in terms of tempo. There won't be a whole lot happening for a minute or two here, but no objectives up either, so the pace of this game in theory should slow down. Now, with that being said, we saw 80 kills in the last game, so who knows? It might not, but in theory, there's not a whole lot of reason for either of these teams to fight, and as I say that, Nihilix commits the flash to go in and doesn't get anything.
Interesting flash forward for sure. Some odd summoners being burned with the top lane here as X-Ray does look to find a trade. Nihilix is flashless, and he maybe has W in a second here, but is able to make the escape happen, gets exhausted, and a huge chunk of damage. Rocket, Super Mega Death Rocket almost connect. Nihilix almost got caught out there. An odd choice for sure. Certainly a little bit more vulnerable now here on the Zed without that flash.
Yeah, but it's gonna be
Gix on, and it was just a bait the whole time, and he will find the assassination on the Sparks. Gix went in with a huge assist there in the mid lane. Goblin committing for the tower. Will take one turret shot, not too much damage. Here comes Baratel, so much speed on the Poppy. Actually gets stopped there by the snare. Halazid is just healing up Goblin. Halazid is still full HP, but is forced out eventually. There's will trade one back on a sporadic. Poppy ends up claiming the kill. Shut down onto the Varus. Pushing LP versus X-Ray. Let Noodle fight galore, but X-Ray sustaining through it with the Maokai passive.
Goblin looking immortal in the bot lane as we see GYX moving on to Fleas. Baratel's still here.
It's never over. Gix has arrived in bottom lane. Halazid looking for a little bit of damage, but it's a 2 versus 2, and it's support and tank jungle, so a whole not a lot happening in the bottom lane. X-Ray finds a stun, finds a trade, finds some help, but it's inevitably a wet Noodle fight up in the top lane. No one's really coming to help these guys out. Nice trade back here, pushing LP with Knight. Wants to try and find it. No, he misses the Arctic Assault by inches. It's enough. The skill shots all go pushing LP. Got the legs. X-Ray.
So I keep walking up, man. This guy is so unafraid of dying. It's crazy. He still continues to find the wave.
On the way up, pushing LP, able to get some kind of sense that there's someone coming up here as X-Ray was sticking around a little too long. Eventually, we'll back out and take the recall.
Dude, if Froggy Fighters lose this series, I think there's a lot of moments where if a skill shot lands, like it's like a pixel or two off, right? And it maybe changes the game, and I think it's devastating for the Froggy Fighters here, because they're running a marathon here, and every mistake...
Here, there is Nature's Wrath coming down as well. Spartak versus the world here. Does he have the damage? Cannot please keep him alive long enough. There's just nothing left. Tanks just slap you to death with their noodly arms. Gix really putting the hurt down here in the bottom lane. Please with a nice flash to manage to dodge away. That you're giving a kill over to Zed. Just kidding! X-Ray wants that one for himself.
It's always better to put the gold on X-Ray. Sorry, Nihilix. X-Ray is taking that one. You know, this Maokai is going to be a force to be reckoned with. X-Ray pilots this champion arguably better than any other person on his team that plays top lane.
Oh.
They're coming for the shield. May have been a little bit risky. Let's get someone out. The Varus here does come through. The silence prevents the hammer from knocking anyone away. Sparks over the wall. Nice Emperor's Divide to stay alive. Yes, you will. And just make the escape over the wall. And that's quite a few resources burned here in the mid lane. Unable to pick up any kills though.
Yep. And meanwhile, pushing LP just quietly taking the top lane tower for himself. I think he picked up a turret plate there. Not totally sure, but that tower now sitting on very low health, will probably just fall soon, and, you know,
Nice damage on the Gix, but he does have that reduced cooldown from canceling the slingshot, so doesn't necessarily need to do anything, because he'll just get healed up and kite back into the jungle.
Alturas finish, I thought, challenge.
Never.
Impossible. Yeah, but so far, I like the way that Baratel's played.
It will be enough damage this time around. Triple knockups all through the Lulu coming up massive. Gix with the let's bounce and set one down. Baratel's on the way out. It's flipped on its head. The Froggy Fighters cannot find a positive trade in this game.
Yeah, it was a beautiful flash engage from Baratel, but GYX, the counter engage is just so much better. He's able to find both of the bot laners of Froggy Fighters for the kills. Goblin just absolutely free hit, and now 5, 2, and 3 on this Varus. I'm not sure these tanks, despite having 6 kills between the two of them, are going to be able to tank it. Spark's in trouble.
To get out of here, Zed quickly closing the gap a little bit more will do it. Nice flash out from Sparks. Nihilak not willing to commit anything. It's X-Ray dashing on in actually aggressively against Sejuani. Doesn't have the Ignite anymore ticking on him. Doesn't have the option and misses Shikari again. The stun is enough this time though. Nature's Grasp ignored by the tenacity, and Sejuani will walk away scot-free.
Pushing LP's revenge. X-Ray got him a couple times last game, but Pushin says not again. 3-0-0 on the Sejuani. Finally claims X-Ray. I feel like there were many moments in that top lane where Pushin was about to kill X-Ray but couldn't quite finish him off. Finally gets the solo kill he was looking for, and now Pushin LP making his way down to this Drake as Nihilak is the focus.
Looking to take down Nihilak. Nice flash away from the wall. Will prevent Bearjaw from finding a stun. Here comes the attempt on Nihilak, but not being able to find anything else. Nihilak with a nice dodge with the ultimate to make sure he can just get away from the damage there. It is a dragon attempt here from the Froggy Fighters. Managed to get the first one, and they'll easily claim a second. Objectives going the way of Froggy Fighters, but they have to still fight through this 4K gold deficit.
Yeah, and honestly, what happened here?
It pushes in Goblin. Back from, oh my god, oh no, Ultra coming on through. Goblin being low, but not going down just yet. Dick's on the way on in. Managing to be in the middle of the fight, but it was just getting pinged by the tanks with some damage. X-Ray now in the fight as well. These tanks are here. They think have arrived, but there's just nothing else to be had. They have no more damage. Goblin is down, and they're just too afraid to chase down this last winning 3.
It was a super close fight. Sparks goes in for the sweep and finds it, but he immediately gets Wild Growth by Fleas, which actually stops the knockback and knocks Goblin straight up. And who do you see behind the fight that was left untouched? It was the ringleader, Hallows Eve, healing up the members of ZWD, ensuring that they're able to come out on top of that trade, despite Sporadic being almost completely untouched throughout that exchange.
Yeah, and after that fight, it actually gives a lot of map control over to ZWD here. They are going to head towards this Herald now. Will be the second Herald of the game. And honestly, I mean, they might not even end up taking it here just yet. I think they can, but maybe they choose not to. I don't know. I think X-Ray has kind of gotten away with murder this game a little bit, especially in the last fight.
Will land. A little bit more damage. They'll leave the kill, but it just does not come through. Ignite is taking the tower, manages to keep him alive for now. Pushing LP, managing to jump over the head of X-Ray, gets pushed back in. Beartail looking for something on a Goblin here. I'm not sure if this is the fight they want. They managed to pull up the Jinx and the Lulu. As that Zac over the wall, looking onto Tree. He's going to pull them together, smacking over them down. Look at the damage from the Zac. That's the power of this fake. Stick over the wall and finds 2 kills. As it first, actually, on the backside of this fight, it's the top lane tanks and the jungle tanks switching sides on the fight and taking out each other's respective bot lanes. But Hallows is still alive, and there is no Fleas to match the support.
Yeah, Sporadic actually gets out alive just barely, but yeah, imagine picking an AD carry when you can just pick 2 tanks and do the same thing, but better.
Managing to push him out of the jungle, and it will be the Herald claimed by this team.
I don't think they'll claim Herald, actually. There's only 30 seconds left on it, and with neither of these teams committing into the pit, I can't... Wow, that was a lot of saplings.
It was a little bit egregious from pushing LP, but the team has arrived to back him up. Sparks is here. They're turning on the Herald, actually. They're going to try and burst this one down.
They don't have time.
He mentioned it'll only be up for, I believe...
10 more seconds.
10 more seconds with combat starting up here. But Nihilak has arrived to push him off this objective, and no one will be taking Herald this game.
Yeah, that fight was super close as we see the Baron spawning. GYX with 10 stacks on the Darksteel and all the components of a Demonic Embrace, pretty much able to 1v2 the bot lane of the Froggy Fighters after connecting the Slingshot and the Let's Bounce. It was a huge performance, but somehow the fight ends up even as Sporadic barely escaped with his life, and Push and LP and Baratel were able to trade a kill on the backside.
Yep. Trading the kill is honestly not that great for Froggy Fighters at this point, though. The gold keeps finding its way exactly where it needs to be for ZWD again, and with Zed and Varus now having 8 kills collectively, almost as much as all of Froggy Fighters, they're actually scaling pretty hard into this mid game, and even though they haven't been able to secure any objectives, didn't get the second Herald or anything, it doesn't really matter at this point. Jinx and Azir are going to scale super hard late game, but right now I actually think that the mid bot for ZWD is stronger. So as we see this next dragon coming up in just over a minute now, I expect that ZWD actually have enough pressure on the map and enough of a gold advantage that they can actually get it.
Yeah, I think as far as the scaling discussion goes, ZWD definitely has the gold in the better places. They'll hit those late spikes sooner. But I don't know if any two carries really truly outscale Azir and Jinx. And also, GYX is pretty much the sole magic damage on this team. You'll have some coming out for Maokai and some for Soraka, but this Zac is the majority of the magic damage, so there's really nothing stopping these frontliners for the side of Froggy Fighters just stacking armor and potentially being able to nullify Nilig, Zed, and Goblin's Varus.
Yep, and Froggy Fighters are trying to look for vision play here. They don't have very many other options at this point until Jinx and Azir get more items. Are getting a little bit pushed in though. Nilik actually commits over the wall.
Look for this one. They'll get Emperor's Divide and then push back. Now get Polymorph. They can't really get back over the wall. Finally manages to lead the flash over. They're bringing something for that one out. Pushing LP straight onto the Zed. They throw the Zac to Narnia. And that's pushing LP. And the 1 versus 5 as he gets collapsed on. Needs to be arrived here quickly. Barry taking Sejuani. They're being a Apollo Z. Managing to flash away for now. There's some healing coming on through. On the back side of the fight is Vix. Solo killing the Azir. So much damage coming out for this guy. So Soraka does go down. Can they kill off the Varus though? This is the last damage threat remaining. These two tanks have to make it happen. Goblin though, with the damage from the stacks, from the blight arrows, it all comes through. And in the end, he will fall, but he's killed enough. He's done the damage, and it will be ZWD claiming the dragon.
ZWD may have found the game-winning fight there. The game-breaking fight, I should say. The game is certainly not over yet. But it's the tanks of Froggy Fighters that are on the backline, but ultimately, despite pushing LP and Veritel living for like 2 hours, their entire bot lane goes down. GYX able to slow down the Azir, and Nilik helping him take down Fleas means that they'll never win that fight because they just can't do enough damage between them. The front-to-back style just wasn't quite there. It was more frontline to backline rather than clashing somewhere in the middle and letting the carries hit. Which for Froggy Fighters, this composition isn't going to work like that. You need to protect your Azir and you need to protect your Jinx, or else they will die to the Zac and the Zed.
Yep, and I think I kind of called it earlier, but ZWD just, at this point in the game, until the Jinx and Azir have more items, they're not actually stronger than Varus and Zed, and I think it showed up pretty clearly in that fight that once Goblin was able to flash away from the Poppy and just free hit her, there wasn't a whole lot that Froggy Fighters could do because they just didn't have the raw damage output to beat out Goblin in that fight, and so the fight goes the way of ZWD, and Sparks might be caught here.
Veritil's camping here. They're wait for the dash back on the shadows. Will it come through? There it is. Nilik managing to switch it back on him. Veritil's still very fast. Has the advanced play. It has the smite. Nilik is so elusive though. Can you make the chase down happen? Nice connection with the beast back. It pushes him straight into it. Nice heal from the Soraka. Will keep Nilik alive. Veritel's gone too far now. No going back. Hollow's Eve is here to try and keep him in place, but it's just Soraka. No one else has arrived just yet. Stuns Soraka into the wall. The X-Ray will arrive, but just a little bit too late. So no kills to be had here. Veritel tried to chase and just couldn't make it happen.
Yep, and it was really close. Bearcell had some good ideas there, but I honestly think they should have kept at least one person around that shadow. They know that Zed can go back to that at any time on the ult, but oh, Varus ult committed here. Glacial Prison responded.
He's just an all-in for pushing LP. He's trying to keep this one around. There's no stacks though, and Goblin just burns him down with those extra stacks. Here comes back to the wall, manages to find him another Sparks. Sparks goes low, Spartak goes low. Everyone's dying here in the bottom lane of the tank squad plus Soraka. And in a 3 versus 4, Gix finds the triple kill.
It's 3 letters. All you need to know, GYX. This guy is coming up absolutely huge on the Zac. He's got the most kills in the game. He's solo killing the backlane in almost every single team fight. The Let's Bounce is putting out so much damage. Even through the Wild Growth, Sparks cannot stay alive with Zac just bouncing on his forehead over and over.
Yeah, and honestly, GYX is looking absolutely dominant this game. He even, I mean, he got his flash blown early when he went for a dive bot lane that executed badly, and then he died top lane, blowing his passive as well in the 2v2, and it looked really bad for him at the start, but kudos to him for finding his way back into this game and just absolutely taking over, especially now in the finals when his team needs him the most.
might have been caught out here though. They'll have to go to the dash away. It's stopped by Barrichello. He tried to go in and just gets slapped down. Pushing LP in the back of this fight is also just doing some damage to the Zed. But now the teleports are channeling. Pushing LP is now completely alone. Goblin coming on forward here. But the Emperor's Divide knocks him back. Will it be enough damage? There's the burst. Jinx finds the shutdown. That's the kill you needed. That's the kill you needed it on. X-Ray here, the next target for team fight. Pushing LP. Still 1 versus 2 here on the side. Finds yet another stun on the Gix. Can they find these kills though? Gix now finally finding a dash on in that doesn't get blocked. Gix goes into passive. Hollow's Eve here goes low. They have to run now. The reset will come to them Jinx, and they know she'll get excited and just run down the rest of this team. But it's Baron on the table here. Can they make the turnaround happen? It's Zed, X-Ray, and Hollow's Eve versus the world here. 3 versus 5. They have to make the stop happen. It's a massive build swing in favor of the Froggy Fighters. Sparks still very healthy here on the Azir. The poke goes wide from Zed. Baron down to 3k, and they're calling it off. They're giving it over to the Froggy Fighters, and it's an objective bounty, a shutdown, and kills secured by the Froggy Fighters.
The Froggy Fighters are back, baby. Just when you thought ZWD had them in the ropes, Sporadic is able to find a shutdown kill. GYX falls and they claim the Baron. It's going to be a tough one to claw their way back into, but they now have the tools if they're able to execute.
Does that count as another caster curse, by the way? Because I'm talking about GYX popping off, and then he gets caught going a little too far forward, and then his team's just split up from that fight. And yeah, really good looks there from Froggy Fighters, keeping themselves in this game. Again, we've seen this from them so many times throughout the series. They have the right ideas. They want to claw back into these games, but...
Here goes that Silly. That's a pick. 4 versus 5 now. The Dragon has spawned, and this is just going to be forced to give over. CWD and claim another objective for themselves. And they just really can't do anything with Baron for the next 35 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Losing the Drake hurts enough, but being down a member means you don't get the full value out of your Baron buff. It's so much harder to hang someone on a side lane to try to get wave priority. It's actually a pretty large loss for Froggy Fighters because they're not able to get utilization out of that buff when they really needed to pick up some of the standing gold. That bot outer turret still being up is gold that the Froggy Fighters desperately want in their pockets, and they were certainly hoping to get with this Baron buff, but ZWD had other plans.
Baron claimed to be another 5 minutes for the next objective, but Froggy Fighters are going to need a few more of those insane team fights for them to come back happen. This is not the way to start that off. Barrichello caught out, doesn't have flash, doesn't have anything to make the escape happen here. There is help coming, but it's just going to arrive a little bit too late. Do they want to try and take this fight? This is a little risky. There's a Gix flanking on the side as well. Fleas and Sporadic are in trouble, and Gix will not find the engage.
Yeah, push in bot lane. He does have teleport though, so no play there for either team.
Yep, and another really good pick from ZWD, that one just coming off of the better vision control that they had in the top side of the map, and this game is slowly but surely falling out of the hands of Froggy Fighters here. We see item spikes actually coming out here from ZWD as well. They've just completed a couple items here, so that gold finally hitting important points for ZWD. I expect them to look to get these tier 2 outers on the side lanes here before the next objective comes up.
Yeah, ideally you're knocking down some of these side lane turrets just to help manage your waves before the major objectives. You know, I think something that almost every team in the Liga has struggled with is wave management. And before objectives, it can be incredibly challenging. Luckily for the side of Froggy Fighters, they have the TP advantage because Sparks is on teleport while Nihilix is on ignite. So their wave management is going to be a little lower risk since they'll still be able to teleport and join at the next Baron or next Drake.
Yep. Man, be able to find another turret for himself here. Slapped back by X-Ray, but a little bit more gold back into the pockets here, just narrowing it back to that 4k gold lead that we were familiar with about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and GYX found Sporadic here in mid lane.
Yeah, nice. Fujify to keep the Jinx alive for now. Playing more onto the Zac. Has no passive right now, so if he goes down, already an excited Jinx, but now has to run. Nice. Freeze Verdict from the Poppy. Barrichello keeping the team alive here.
Ooh, Glacier Prison.
So they immediately should shuffled over the wall. It's a front to back teamfight. This isn't clear exactly what they wanted. The turret in the mid lane as well to help provide some damage and some cover. Now like on the side, looking to find a solo kill on someone. Pushed around, slapped around, shut down again by Sporadic. 2 shutdowns collected now by the commander of the Froggy Fighters. They're still on the run here. They cannot contest these tanks. They have to get some health back on their team in order to make this fight happen.
Oh, it was so close. Nihiluk looking for the hero play on the flank, but he's just unable to find a kill on any of the members of the Froggy Fighters. DWD still in a dominant position though, because they have huge health bar advantages, although FF is healing. Sparks, Baratel have already been back to base. A couple more recalling now, but this bot inner is under siege.
Yeah, be careful. They can't stick around for too long here as the recalls are coming through. X-Ray will manage to escape. Goblin's going for the recall in the bush, and there shouldn't be any more fight unless they manage to sniff out this Varus recall.
Yeah, and I don't think that they will. I think it's going to take, especially with them clearing vision out here, they're probably just going to be too stalled by that. Jinx does get a moment to breathe here as she catches mid waves and picks up a few camps here, but she really needs to be able to get to the point where she has LDR. She's going for the Infinity Edge build, which is fine into Soraka, Varus, and Zed, but really, honestly, a lot of the time in these fights, it's going to be the Maokai and Zac closest to her, and so going IE is fine, but I think her damage is only going to really matter once she gets the LDR, and I don't know if Froggy Fighters have that much time left in the game.
Keep in mind, the itemization for the Maokai and Zac is not suited towards Jinx at all. The only armor that GYX has is a Bramble Vest. X-Ray has almost none except for what's comprised in his Mythic. Neither of them opted into Steel Caps here either. So X-Ray could definitely still spit the damage despite being pretty far away from, Sporadic could definitely still spit the damage despite being pretty far away from LDR.
Sparks has now finished that Shadow Flame as well, so a little bit more damage now coming out from this Azir. It is still a 2-carry threat comp, despite all the MR being built right now. They are now positioning themselves for the Soul Point. Both these teams really want this Dragon. The Soul and Ocean Soul on either of these tank-based compositions. The Q Gix is in, stopped by Baratel. Immediately disengaging from the Nature's Grasp as well. It's pushing LT, maybe caught out here. Pulls in X-Ray with the Arctic Assault. Now forced out with the Keeper's Verdict. It's Nihiluk, who takes a huge chunk of damage on the side actually. Managed to be very careful here on the Zed. Halsey not made it over there to heal him up just yet. Now back to full. Flag feeling good. It's Jinx going wide with the Mega Death Rocket. Flashing in. It's Bear Jones with a fight. They're going to find this one right here, right now. Emperor's Divide. Shuffles back Goblin. Can they find the damage out of the Zhōngshì's Hourglass? Still managing to stay alive. Shut down by pushing LP. It's Fleas on the run. Sporadic now moving forward. Just walks past the tanks. He says, tanks be damned, I've got the damage, but cannot find any more kills. Beartail now against Nihiluk. Can he find the kill? Nihiluk traded back. 3
Sparks!
3. It's still no carries falling here. The tank's left alive, and it's the Rocket left alive, but they cannot contest this Dragon. Froggy Fighters forced off the objective and will not claim Soul Point.
Yeah,
How the Sparks live there, man? Just masterful team fighting on the back end by the Azir, barely able to find his way out there. Walking though.
Maybe looking for something here. This is really risky. X-Ray has base images in the pocket. It should be enough to burn through this Sejuani, but unfortunately a nice little escape there. X-Ray not going to find any more kills.
Yeah, well played to ZWD to get the objective after taking that fight. It was a little bit shaky from both teams. I honestly thought, so there was a moment off camera that nobody really saw, but before that fight even started, Sparks did about half of Goblin's health, and that really, I think, made a huge difference in that fight before Baratel even slammed him into the wall in the river. But yeah, Soraka, man, I mean, it's just such a crazy champion. I mean, Goblin, by all means, should have been dead multiple times in that fight, and he just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, the initial sweep from Sparks was wonderful. Baratel immediately committing the flash, finds the stun onto Goblin, but Goblin basically Captain Jacks it with an instant react cleanse. And then Sparks is able to find the excellent sweep to push Goblin into the team, but the stopwatch keeps him alive, and then even more Soraka healing, plus the shield bow. Eventually, they're able to take him down, but they expend so much on the AD carry that the fight becomes unwinnable on the back end as they have no health bars.
Alpha fight right here, right now, shuffling in top of Z. Can he bring this Soraka? Gets us in the backline, but he hits nothing. It's a 4 versus 4 here now in the fight. I mean, backline, how much is for Sporadic? Sporadic gonna get soloed out here. Actually, double kill for Varus. Managing to burn through just about everything with the F here, Sporadic. Now Goblin is dead. They could try and turn this one down, but it's just the two tanks that are so damn tanky. Gix looks for the elastic slingshot on Desperadic, not gonna find it. Now, can we force out to try and kite back into these two tanks? They have a little health bars, but they have an EK behind them. Can Gix or find them in Desperadic? It's not gonna happen. Where is the elastic slingshot connect?
Oh, they find it!
Gix manages to make the hero right happen again. Levi is still online. The two tanks of ZWD might have built the backpack to carry themselves to victory.
Sporadic had flash. Oh no, it's a tragedy for Froggy Fighters. In the 2v3, it looked like they were going to be able to turn that one around. But GYX lands the slingshot on him, and he has just enough damage in combination with X-Ray's Twisted Advance to take down the Jinx. What looked like it could have been a huge win on the back end of that fight ends up going in the favor of ZWD. The question is, what are they going to be able to get off of it?
Yeah, well, right now with only the Baron being up, I don't think they'll be able to get a whole lot here. I imagine with how close that fight actually was, I think ZWD might be in the headspace where they don't assume they're actually as ahead as they are.
This is going to be egregious. Please gets caught out by Gix and X-Ray over the wall here. Not going to be long for this square. Will get shut down. Now it's a 4 versus 5, and ZWD can turn their eyes to the Baron with ease.
Yeah, and a little bit of a mistake from Fleas there, getting caught out. It's not the end of the world, but it does mean that Baron now can actually go over to ZWD as they have a member up. Nobody to really save the Jinx in these fights, so...
Gonna first two out. Maybe they can actually look for a fight here. Hello Z certainly caught out. They get one back. It's a Baron claim for ZWD.
Yeah, Baratel sprints in there with the Keeper's Verdict and immediately ejects half of the ZWD roster. Then it's Hallows left alone in the pit, and so they're able to trade supports, but they're still Baron onto 4. And the Ocean Soul is spawning within the duration of this Baron buff within a minute and a half, so it's going to be a pretty uphill battle here for Froggy Fighters.
Yeah, and with the Baron buff waves crashing, I mean, if you're looking at who can actually wave clear on the side of Froggy Fighters, it's basically the Azir and the Jinx, and neither of them are particularly good at it. I think I don't know. I think that this Baron might actually just be pretty bad for Froggy Fighters. I think it definitely gives ZWD time to just set up for Soul here. And Ocean Soul, like you mentioned, Joe, earlier, for either of these teams would be devastating because they have such crazy front lines that you're never punching through the front line with an Ocean Soul in this game.
Yeah, absolutely not.
There is the moral reminder now online for Sporadic, which might be able to cut through the healing and these tanky health bars, but it's just so damn hard this game. See what they can do here in this next fight as it's ZWD shoving up mid lane.
Yeah, all 5 members of Froggy Fighters have heal cut in some capacity, 3 upgraded, 2 yet to be upgraded, which honestly is not ideal, right? It doesn't apply, or it doesn't stack, so having it on 5 people is not super cool to push it. Now, like bot though, they could look.
Glacial Prison on the Goblin. They don't knock him back though. And it's Gix in the back once again, just fleeting away. Baratel goes very low. The arrow does come through. 2 kills given over. X-Ray trying to find some more kills here for the rest of the team. Gix locks him down. Is it gonna be the 5-0 ace as they take one more? Only pushing LP on the Sejuani. He's able to run for the hills. But this has to be the game. Baroned up. They're running down mid with tanks, and there's nothing left for Froggy Fighters. They're just gonna take right to this first Nexus, right with the first inhibitor tower, right to the first inhibitor. And it'll be ZWD building the backpack from the remains of the Froggy Fighters base, and they'll finish their upper bracket sweep as they push on to push an LP. So dang tanky, but it's still just not enough. The Nexus exposed.
And
Froggy
with that,
Fighters Goblin taking their first win in the La Liga season championship.
And with that, our last season of La Liga has concluded. Please stick around after this game where we will be revealing the rebrand for La Liga.
Woo!
Well, with all that considered, we could not find a way to save La Liga. Even me, Ed Sheeran, 6'5", 9-time La Liga champion, could not save La Liga. All memes aside, this is the end of La Liga. From all the laughs, to all the missed barons, the ash flanks, to the question mark pings, we thank you for all the fun and not so fun memories you've brought us. Good night, La Liga.
And welcome to Summit Esports Gamers. That's right, the rebrand is here, and we are stoked to introduce Summit Esports. With Miley Cyrus's guiding light, we commit to the climb. In ranked games and relationships, we are now here to help you reach the top. Stay tuned for more, suckers!
Okay. What a game, what a series.
Tim, you're muted.
Tim.
That is a wrap. Thank you. I've muted myself again in Discord. That's okay. We're gonna get rolling. That is gonna be the end of this series. Grand finals for La Liga Season 4, and we've got our champions, Froggy Fighters. Nylek, two-time champion now. First player in La Liga to ever do so. Incredibly diverse and impactful roster across across all of these games. Really, ZWD really proved that they could play plenty of different positions, be effective in different roles, and adapt to the situation as needed. So I'm super proud of them and everybody who participated in this game. If you guys want to share your thoughts, go for it.
Yeah, I think that game we saw a lot of interesting choices towards the later end of the game with items. A lot of people were talking about it in chat, but we saw a lot of people building grievous wounds items that prevent healing because of the Soraka. I think Soraka forced 3, if not every member of Froggy Fighters to build an item relating to that, which is so much gold value, just completely taken out of the pockets when you're already behind, which makes it so frustrating to play against because they just lose damage to build heal cuts.
Right.
And also Jinx going for a very late LDR just never showed.
Very late, unfortunately.
It just the tanks became too tanky. Like that was literally it. The tanks
We
became
got a
too tanky.
Zac. Yeah, we've got a Zac. We've got a Maokai with almost 5,000 health on each of the carries. Getting close to 200 armor. But that is going to be it for.
I want to say
the
congrats
series.
to Goblins, to ZWD, and good try, FF. You guys had a great season. Do not be upset with how you guys ended. You guys finished off really fucking strong.
Indeed. Excellent work from everybody involved. And I am proud to announce the end of La Liga. It's over. This was the last season. And I am excited to unveil our brand new logo, which I believe our host is going to do for you now.
Let's go.
That's right.
I'll pretend New York has mountains.
Website pending.
Yeah,
at least
X-Ray
you got
League is unfortunately the name. X-Ray just didn't get enough bids.
That's right.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Maybe next
he just
season.
maybe next season when he gets he just can buy out the entire esports league and then just rename it to X-Rays League. Just kind of
Yep.
do like an Elon Musk thing with Twitter.
It's
Just drop
coming.
the $50 billion dollars and we'll see it.
I'm just
Are
happy.
we gonna get a an interview? No interview today. Okay.
Darn. I'm happy
Well,
I got
that's
to play
alright.
La Liga before.
Yes.
The 1 year I'm here, it's gone. It was quick but fun.
Alrighty. Well, that is going to be it for. Sorry, what? That is going to be it for our broadcast tonight. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in and listening to our analyst desk here. We've been trying out some new stuff with the broadcast, and we'd love to hear feedback. You know, we're always trying to improve ourselves and working on making this the best we can. Thank you to
Killed
my
it today.
fellow desk hosts who joined me tonight for a very long series. Thanks for sticking with it, and shout out to the production crew for making everything work behind the scenes. Couldn't do it without you. Proton Plat player, the beast, strong arming this production. Shout out to him. And if anybody has any other closing remarks,
Nah, it's just good season, good end to the Liga. Oh, great.
okay, we're just getting word that we are actually doing an interview.
It's the La Liga special. We don't know what we're doing.
Okay, all right. Well,
it's Summit Esports Special. We have a whole new title.
That's
now.
a
No,
Summit.
because Summit Esports hasn't done it yet.
That's
And
true. That's true. That's
Summit
true.
Esports
Alright.
hasn't had a production yet.
So
This
let's
is
just
all
be
La Liga.
better next time. Let's be better
Next time
better.
this won't happen.
Be better.
Okay, we are getting an interview with the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Roblin. So aptly named the Carry. Absolutely just a menace in the entire series. And we'll do his introduction here real quick as soon as we can get him moved into the booth.
It's okay. Admin's asleep at the wheel. Story La Liga.
That's true. We got a little bit more La Liga left.
We got a little bit more. La Liga memes can
And
continue.
here he is. We've got him in the booth now. Roblin, the Goblin, the Carry. He's known by many names, but the most important thing you need to know is he is your Season 4 La Liga champion tonight. Rob, how are you feeling?
Pretty freaking solid. I'm really happy in the team. Everyone played to their roles, and I just had the only thing I had to remind them was you guys don't need to do anything more than what you've done all season, which has been great so far. The game one I think is the biggest indicator of that. You look at the top lane gap, and then you realize that he's Ornn, and it's okay.
And that's okay, because you just gotta start bang, 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 start building those items, get that value every single time. We love to see it. Love to see him on that matchup. If anyone else has any questions, I'll segue it over to my fellow hosts here.
I am very curious about the Game 3 draft. I don't know if you want to talk about that later. I want to know what the thought process was. Did we unleash them? Was it like a pity thing? Like, hey, you guys done great. Here, pick whatever you want. I'm very, very curious.
I was loving the production videos between games that I just had to make sure we were going to get another game.
Oh, okay.
Really see all the skits.
Right.
I also wanted to give people an opportunity to play the champions that they wanted to play. It's not easy to play what I ask of you every game.
That's fair.
And ultimately, players are in control of what they pick. But for the most winningness chance, we're going the Zoe and we're going the Fiddlesticks. So.
Well, you certainly satisfied Injustice here. He was saying, you guys are up in the series, you're about to take the win. No Ornn, no more Ornn, none of that.
You heard it here first. Rob controls everything.
That's right, the captain himself.
And then I'm really proud of Nilik in the mid lane, showing up on the Zed, able to get solo kills in lane versus Sparks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch.
Showing people he's not just the supportive mid laner, the backpack architect.
Not a zillion one trick. He really popped off.
He said, "Here, give me the backpack. I'll take it for a game. All right, you can rest. You can rest your back." Yeah. That is very respectable. Well, I am super glad to hear that. Super proud of you and everybody who played in this series. Shout out to FF for participating in what could have been the longest La Liga series ever.
This was an incredibly fun playoffs. I think a lot of teams came into it with their own take on their version of winning, and I'm really excited for next season as a part of Summit Esports.
That's right. La Liga is no more. We are moving forward with our brand new logo. All right. Well, if nobody has any other questions, I will wrap up the broadcast here. Thank you all.
Final question for Rob before he goes.
Okay.
So Rob, we know that you now play Halo quite a bit. Does this win mean that we'll see you more on the Rift, or are you still your focus is on other avenues or other ventures?
I definitely want to keep participating in the Liga, and I hope to build another winning team next season. But I got to leave the door open, see other opportunities. I am going into my senior year of school, so we'll have to see what the class schedule has in store for me. But again, big shout out. I'm really proud of everyone on the team. And then Froggy Fighters, Baruto, actually an insane Poppy player. Ban that shit. He's way too good on it. Yeah, shout out to everyone on Froggy Fighters. That was a fun series.
Very nice. So glad to hear that from you. So happy for
Congrats.
everybody for sticking around.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We had a lot of fun hosting this broadcast, testing
Yep.
out this new Analyst S thing.
And-
We'll probably be seeing this more in the future.
This is actually production on the mic right now.
Yes, here he is.
So
Man behind
Rob,
the scenes.
I don't know if you remember, but last season I made a video for you. Do you remember that video?
You made a couple videos, yeah.
I mean, the one video that hyped you up for the series, and then you disappointed me.
And then you had to make the follow-up video of
Yeah,
the
the follow-up
tearing
video.
down the Titan, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think for good, with your good time's sake, with your permission, should I play that first video, the one that hyped you up, since you actually won this time?
Oh yeah, I'm down.
All right.
I always love a good production. I gotta say, production value this stream was sick. I'm really happy. You guys did great. Thank you for putting
right.
this on.
I'll play that video and I'll
thank
go
you.
back into my little hidey hole.
Yeah, back into the hermit.
All right,
Kobe.
we're gonna be seeing a video now. Let's get it moving.
もう大丈夫みたいだ。うん。君たちは大切な仲間だし、ちゃんと殺そうと思ってる。
それは僕たちが悪魔の末裔だから。
いや、君たちは誰も悪くないし、悪魔なんかじゃないよ。でも全員死ななきゃいけない。もうダメなんだ。
追わないで。彼がいつ巨人になるかわからない。距離を取らないとまたあの爆風に巻き込まれる。それがベルトルトにその気はないらしい。瀕死のライナーがむき出しのままじゃ自分でとどめを刺すことになるから、今ならライナーを人質にして白人戦に挑める。そのはずなんだけど、彼には何か考えがあるように見えた。というか、あれが本当にベルトルトなの？私にはまるで別人に見えた。僕もだ。
しめ！鎧は虫的だ！早くとどめよう！仰向けになってる！これじゃとどめが！すごく変な気分だ。恐怖もあまり感じていないし、周りがよく見える。きっとどんな結果になっても受け入れられる気がする。そうだ、誰も悪くない。全部仕方なかった。だって世界はこんなにも残酷じゃないか。
飛び上がったぞ。まさか。
しかしライナーすぐ近くですよ。